Hey everyone, it's Blake. Welcome in to episode number 72 of our WWE 2021 Save and TEW 2020. This is Smackdown for week 2 in December. And just as I'm laughing right now because just for clarity, this is the second time I'm now recording this episode. As I always do, I always copy the save before I hit play on any kind of new episode going through to record it, because I know that recording can be an issue sometimes, and what do you know, I just did an entire 30-minute episode, and it did not record. So I am doing this for the second time. It's probably going to be a little bit quicker because scheduling-wise, I need to get through this one a little bit quicker. So we're going to jump in, and I'll talk about the Mae Young Classic, all that stuff at the end. I'll do that kind of Excalibur style. I will just run through a full verbal sprint, telling you everything, all the kind of plugging everything we have coming up on that. But let's jump in, and I'm going to kind of run through this pretty quickly on this episode, just because, by the way, I'm going to tell you something too a little bit later. There was an incident we had after the previous show that I'm going to tell you because I was just comically laughing about this thing. It was the perfect thing, and I was like, okay, this is great, but of course it didn't save. But I'll tell you about it, unless we get the incident again, which I doubt we do. All right, pre-show. Veer has come. That joke was much better the first time I recorded this. 45 overall here. Nakamura gets the win over Veer. First time we've used Veer in our series here. And, again, look, his popularity is at 10. I can't bring Veer in just beating everyone. I'm sorry. That's just not going to happen. His in-ring performance is a 21. Popularity is a 10. I can't really push Veer right now. So, but we needed somebody to take a loss here. And so we decided to put Veer in this spot on the pre-show. So 45, nothing really of note here on that. And then we start the main episode off sort of like we did last week. Pat McAfee wanting an update on Roman Reigns. He asked Heyman last week, if you remember. And, that's when Heyman sort of said that, hey, he hadn't talked to Roman Reigns. He doesn't have an update. He couldn't tell him a whole lot. And McAfee's just kind of pressing again. Paul, do you have an update? Like, where is the Universal Champion? We haven't seen him since Survivor Series. Heyman says he'll have an update a little bit later on where things stand with Roman Reigns. For now, that's all he's going to say. So very quiet Paul Heyman here, not really giving much to Pat McAfee on what's going on with Roman Reigns right now. So 71 on that one. Then we transition to the ring where Charlotte Flair continues to taunt her Mae Young Classic opponent. Remember, we still don't know who it is, but we do know last week Charlotte said she wanted her opponent to not be a coward and to stop keeping it a mystery, to come out and face her. She gives her another opportunity to do that here. She waits. No mystery opponent. So Charlotte just goes into a rant about all her accomplishments and how she's going to add another one at the Mae Young Classic this weekend. And before she can continue, that brings out Asuka and Kairi Sane, who interrupt Charlotte because they have a match coming up. So they're tired of hearing her ramble. They just come out and do their entrance, and they're getting ready for their match. Charlotte not very happy about this, as you would expect. 68 for this one. Speaking of their match, I told you guys I am sprinting through this episode right now. But Asuka and Kairi Sane get the win over Eva Marie and Nia Jax. 6:59 as it is Kairi Sane getting the pin on Eva Marie. Asuka, as usual, the best here. 63. Not a bad match, actually. Probably better than I would have expected. But gives these two a win. A little momentum heading into their respective matches at the Mae Young Classic. But after the match, maybe some momentum taken away from Kairi Sane because Charlotte Flair comes back, and again, she was pissed that she got interrupted. So she nails Kairi Sane from behind with the microphone, slides out of the ring to prevent Asuka from attacking her, and Charlotte just holding her hands up, going down the ramp, just kind of, once again, bullying someone else here. And so Charlotte getting a little revenge, if you will. And remember, we're kind of teasing this. Why? Because these two could meet in the second round. Flair versus the mystery opponent, DeVille versus Kairi Sane. So this is a potential second round matchup. So just another tease of another match you could see at the Mae Young Classic. So 62 for this. And then it is Alistar Black getting the win over R-Truth. And I'm laughing again. I wish some of this stuff, I wish I could just find this recording because there were so many things that I was laughing about in the last episode that you're just not going to get that entertainment value on this episode because in the last episode, I was just going back and forth calling him Alistar and Malachi. I could not get it right. But the AEW series, he's a big part of that right now. We just brought him back in our WWE one. So Alistar Black gets the win here over R-Truth. Pretty much a squash match. Black Mass does it 53. So not bad, but I mean, and it's a squash match. I'm not really that concerned. Black is, I think it's like, his overness is not great. It's like 60s, mid-60s, somewhere in there. So this was nothing more than just sort of, pushing him. Bray Wyatt is his manager, now essentially. So that helps. But the big part is after the match, and Aleister Black performs poorly here. 79, Drew McIntyre makes his return. He runs off Aleister Black and Bray Wyatt. So a very angry Drew McIntyre is back. Remember, after the Hell in a Cell match at Survivor Series, it was Aleister Black making his triumphant return, attacking Drew McIntyre after his win over Bray Wyatt. And so that is kind of your setup here with this. So 79, a lot more to come, of course, with this trio here. And then we get a video package looking at Keith Lee's run as the Intercontinental Champion. Basically your hype video for a babyface here, looking at what Keith Lee's done. He beat Apollo Crews for the title. He's beaten Nakamura. He's beaten Samoa Joe. So just kind of looking at his accomplishments and what he's done thus far as the champion. That gets a 74 on this one. Speaking of Joe, he gets the win over Cedric Alexander. 726. Muscle Buster does it. 59. Not bad. But remember, Joe said last week on SmackDown, he was, he vowed to bounce back after that loss to Keith Lee at Survivor Series. So this is just kind of putting Joe in a match where he can do that to get a win. So Joe gets the victory here and bounces back after that loss to Keith Lee. And then, just like we did on Raw, if you remember, we had Michael Cole sort of narrate the video package looking at the road to the Mae Young Classic for a lot of the Raw superstars. Now, he does the same for the SmackDown superstars here. So, we get a look at Bianca Belair and her certainly accomplishments as the women's champion on SmackDown and her first-round match against Dakota Kai. Asuka, who will be in the main event, as we said, against Becky Lynch on night one. So we kind of look at that here. Zayn and Flair, we just talked about. Alexa Bliss going one-on-one with Toni Storm, and then Raquel Gonzalez going up against Liv Morgan. So, just again, your usual kind of hype package here to sort of get everything in motion and everything in place before we kick things off in game tomorrow night on the Mae Young Classic. But so that's kind of what we want to accomplish here. But that does lead us into the match we set up last week, which was the 6-woman tag here, as it is the trio of Alexa Bliss, Raquel Gonzalez, and Dakota Kai getting the win over Bianca Belair, Natalya, and Tamina in 10-18. Raquel Gonzalez pins Natalya. Bianca, as usual, head and shoulders above everyone else. 61 here for this, but gives the Mean Girls a little kind of victory heading into this tournament, and doesn't really hurt Belair because she doesn't take the pin, and I think we protected her. So we kept her strong. So we're not really just one of those things where we wanted to give these three a little momentum heading into the tournament, and that's what we do here. And we'll have plenty more to come with these four in particular once we get to the Mae Young Classic. All right, and then it's Elias backstage who says that Otis is going to flex his strength against Damian Priest, and just kind of setting up that Elias and Otis are taking the night off from tag team action, which they haven't been that dominant, but Elias, he's just kind of over the top here, a little cocky, and he says that Otis is going to take care of business against Damian Priest tonight. So that's kind of your setup here, and that leads us to the match, which gets a nice rating, 69 here. Priest gets the win over Otis, as you probably guessed, 8-17, the victory. Lack of psychology doesn't help here, but it's okay. We have pretty good chemistry between these two, so that's good to note there on that. So, hey, we could always do a Damian Priest versus Otis, big match, main event, if we needed to down the line, knowing they have good chemistry together. So that is just, kind of a setup win here for Priest, but it kind of seems like he's in a holding pattern. He's just had basically two, basic matches the last couple weeks, but it's going to pick up pretty quickly for Damian Priest, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in the coming weeks. All right, and then Pat McAfee backstage, and it's Drew McIntyre just, looking for Bray Wyatt, looking for Aleister Black, and McAfee catches up to him, and McIntyre basically says, I will not stop until I get my revenge on Aleister Black. McIntyre says, I thought that I was, done with Bray Wyatt, but maybe I'm just getting started. And just a very frustrated and angry Drew McIntyre here. Once again, just kind of getting the point across that he's coming after Aleister Black. So an 80, good segment here on that. And then it is the preparation for our main event, our three-way tag team match for the tag team titles. The Miz and Sami Zayn taking on New Day and Enigma, Jeff Hardy and Ricochet. And Miz, a very confident Miz, is backstage as they, see Drew McIntyre, a very angry McIntyre, leave the picture. And here comes Miz and Zayn, who are with Pat McAfee, and they are preparing for their championship celebration next week. They want McAfee to be a part of it. So, just your over-the-top heel work here for these two. And Miz says Sami had it right last week in the State of Sami address. They're going to win the tag team titles. And Sami just adds in real quickly before they leave, I'm going to do exactly what John Cena did because I'm better than John Cena, and I've told everyone that. I pinned him at Survivor Series, and then, Miz just kind of has to pull him away, saying, all right, it's time for a match. Let's go to the ring here. So these two playing well off of each other, as you would expect. 77, and that is officially leading us into our main event because it is the New Day defending their titles against The Miz and Sami Zayn and Enigma. Here we go. And in a 71, we have new tag team champions. It's Enigma, Jeff Hardy, and Ricochet getting the win over the New Day and The Miz and Sami Zayn, 11:32. Ricochet gets the pin on The Miz after The Miz and Sami Zayn have some miscommunication. So the overconfident heels strike here, and they have some miscommunication down the stretch, where after they take out the New Day, little miscommunication allows Ricochet to pin The Miz. And so, a lot of great stuff here. Remember, we get a 71 with Jeff Hardy sort of working through the match with the injury he's had recently. So this was really good. This was, I couldn't have asked for a lot better than this just based on the overness levels, especially for Ricochet, who's still at a 42 in popularity. So this exceeded expectations on this, but we do have new tag team champions. I don't know how many people would have guessed that. Probably not a lot, but this is playing into a bigger story that we have moving forward. But we do have new tag team champs. What do you know? There you have it. We have new champions. And again, I'm going to get to something on Ricochet after we end this episode. But I'll leave it at that for now. There's your teaser to stick around because there's something I have to tell you about Ricochet, and we'll do that at the end of the episode. But we're not done on SmackDown because, wow, 96. Fantastic year. Seth Rollins, remember last week, after Rollins defeated Jimmy Uso in the main event, Seth said he was going to come out this week. He's going to call out Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. He says he knows Roman Reigns isn't going to show his face right now, but he does know that Jey Uso will, because Jey Uso is not going to be happy about what he did to his brother. And so Rollins calls out Jey Uso and tells him, come on out. One by one, I know what I have to do to get to Roman Reigns. I almost got him at Survivor Series, but I'm going to take all of you out until I get to him now. And so that's kind of your setup here with Seth Rollins calling out Jey Uso, and the response in 88, some good stuff here. Jey Uso, man, we're just Jay's delivering in a lot of stuff. I know it's mostly Seth, but Jey delivers a lot now. And look, we see that here. Seth didn't work well with that script. All right. Jey comes out angry. So Jey Uso is angry, and he comes out. He's ready to fight Seth Rollins. And so Jey Uso makes his way out. He's ready for a fight. And as he starts to walk down the ramp, it's Paul Heyman. Heyman comes out. I know it says he sends the Usos to the back here, but of course he sends Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso's not there because Jimmy took the curb stomp, and that's kind of what we're playing up here. But Heyman walks out. He gets in front of Jey. He says, hold on a second. Heyman says, just listen and understand what I have to say. You do not need to be out here right now. And Heyman says, just think, if the head of the table were here right now, would he want to see you disobeying our orders? And so Jey is still just fuming. He wants his shot at Seth Rollins, but Heyman sends him to the back. He says, get out of here. And so Jey reluctantly decides to leave. And that leads to Heyman grabbing a microphone and getting into the ring with Seth Rollins. And Heyman tells Seth Rollins that he has a story for him. And he tells Seth that after your inexplicable actions at Survivor Series, Roman Reigns just come off of ending The Rock's illustrious WWE career in dominant fashion. The Usos were the ones that helped their tribal chief to our locker room, where both the Usos and me, Paul Heyman, proceeded to find the proper medical team to give the head of the table the attention that he deserved after you viciously attacked him. And Heyman says, but here's the thing, Seth. When we got back to the locker room, Roman Reigns was gone. And none of us have heard from him since Survivor Series. And Heyman says, let me tell you something, Seth. That concerns me because I know what Roman Reigns is capable of, And Seth, you know what Roman Reigns is capable of. You may have that briefcase that allows you the right to go after Roman Reigns at any time, but Roman Reigns doesn't need a briefcase to go after you at any time. So he tells Rollins, Seth, watch your back. That goes for you. That goes for everyone else, because as we all know, everyone in the WWE has seen it. When Roman Reigns is angry, there will be consequences. So Heyman just kind of, basically warning Seth Rollins here, after what you did at Survivor Series, Roman Reigns says he was going to hurt you. He is going to hurt you. And I haven't even spoke to him, but I just know. So he says, I can't even tell you, Seth, what he's going to do because I haven't talked to him, but I do know that an angry tribal chief means that there will be consequences. So Heyman just kind of, sending a message here to Seth Rollins, and Heyman walks out of the ring, leaving Seth Rollins standing there as we go off the air for this episode of SmackDown. So quite a finish here with Heyman sending a warning to Seth Rollins. And we get an 81 on this episode, so no popularity changes. But as we're seeing, the reason why normally an 81 would be higher, but our popularity has gone up so much that it really doesn't matter at this point. So it's not really doing a whole lot, even though we had a pretty good finish to the show here. The main event, I said, delivered. I thought a 71 was fine for the main event, given the parties involved. We had 3 great segments to end the show there. Great episode of SmackDown. Let's see what we get to before we wrap up. Okay, so SmackDown, we get positive reviews here. We're not striking gold anymore because, remember, as big as we are size-wise, we have to do even better to strike gold now. So we're not even striking gold with an 81, but it's fine. By the way, Bully Ray has been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Good for him. The Dudley Boys, I think, are rightful members of the Hall of Fame. He gets the induction there. Let's check our mail on this, and looks like we have a couple opinions. Oh, boy. I never know about that. So Kenny Williams developmental. We'll look at that in a minute. Roman Reigns, Alexa Bliss. Is this I think it's the second time we've had Roman's really pushing Alexa Bliss. So wants more promo time for Alexa, all right? What about Jey Uso? Jey Uso, Eva Marie can't sell anything worth a damn, in my opinion. She needs to learn how to work. Well, I don't know. She hasn't been in many matches, Jey. So Jey's speaking up now, though. He's almost to the head of the table. This guy's just become a popular figure in our series. So Jey's just speaking out. He doesn't care. Drug test fees on that. SmackDown, 5.76. Some good stuff there. Let's go ahead and just knock these out here. We'll get to the Kenny Williams thing a little bit later. Oh, I forgot to mention. I didn't tell you guys this. I did on the first time I recorded it. But Killer Cross, Triple H's reign of terror in NXT is going to continue. He's not the champion, of course, but Triple H is all over television because, now he's going to have more time because one of the top NXT stars, Killer Cross, is now out with a torn rotator cuff. He's out pretty much a year. So not ideal for NXT. Very ideal for Triple H, wanting more spotlight. Okay, so let me tell you guys this real quick. So the first time I recorded this, I saw something pop up here on decisions. I was like, all right, what is that going to be? It was Ricochet. And the first thing I saw was there has been an incident involving Ricochet. And I'm thinking, I just gave this guy the tag team titles. And immediately, right after, there's an incident, right? Well, it turns out Ricochet had been popped for soft drugs, so he'd failed the drug test immediately after winning the championship. And I just, this was so perfect that I'm like, how did this not record? Because you guys would have been laughing at this, to look at this as I'm doing this, having no idea what I'm about to see in my reaction to Ricochet failing a drug test as soon as he wins the tag team titles in our series. So, unfortunately, we don't have that to laugh about here, but I did want to note to you guys that did happen. It's just so funny that actually happened. Ricochet was, at least now he's in the good graces of everyone with me because he didn't fail a drug test on this particular episode, but he did on the first go-around when we recorded this. So just so you know on that. All right, so that's SmackDown. We have new tag team champions. We had a lot of stuff in motion. And be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, because on the next episode, it will be our Mae Young Classic preview, and then the next two after that, Night 1, Night 2, Mae Young Classic. I'm going to say it again, must see. You cannot miss these two episodes of our series, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to check out the AEW save. A lot of great feedback on that thus far. You guys are really enjoying that. Several episodes in. So we've got that new series introduced, and as I've said before, I am working on the data to bring back the WCW 1998 save. So a lot of people have enjoyed that one too. That was one of our biggest ones in terms of just people jumped onto that pretty quickly. So we're going to try to bring that back. Nice rotation here on the channel now. So you can have WWE, you have AEW, you can have some old school WCW. We got a lot going on. So be sure to check it all out by hitting that subscribe button. So on the next episode of our WWE 2021 series, it will be our Mae Young Classic preview.